Sarel, you're a popular girl. I imagine you have loads of friends, right?
Yeah, I do. I've got a good bunch of people around me. Yeah.
And I've got a question though. Out of those friends, are any of those an ex?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay, I think I know the answer to this then. Have you managed to stay friends with an ex before?
I mean, they've wanted to, but I've politely declined.
Yes. Okay.
Error 404. Computer says no.
Computer says no.
Computer says no.
Well, some people have managed it, myself included.
Good for you.
Others, obviously, not quite as well.
No.
And that is what we're going to be looking at in today's episode. And specifically, we're going to be analysing the relationships of the iconic Sinitta. And that bloke that she was with, Simon Cowell.
A little man or
I think that's how you pronounce his name. Gwyneth Paltrow.
Queen.
And some bloke that she was with for ages who sings in a band.
Plays guitar, I think.
Not sure.
Yeah.
And we're looking at royalty once again, this time with Jules, Camilla and Diana.
Diana, of
May
course.
she rest in peace.
The one and only. I'm Sarel.
And I'm Jack Remmington, and this is Famously in Love, the podcast where we take a deep dive into the complex, messy, and often outrageous world of celebrity love stories.
We'll be analysing iconic pop culture moments, asking why we care so much about these stories, what do they show us about celebrity culture,
and what do they teach us about love?
From BBC Sound, this is Famously in Love.
So, as we mentioned, today's episode is all about exes. We're going to be looking at the age-old question, can you be friends with an ex?
You've heard what I think. What do you think, Jack? Can you?
I actually think you can, yeah. So, I'm friends with my ex.
Okay.
And that's that.
Good friends?
Yeah.
Interesting.
We were best mates. We dated for a year. We then had a cooling off period where when we split up, obviously it was weird, so we didn't really talk that much. And now we're really close again. We've got loads of mutual friends, so we were always going to have to get there at some point.
Right, okay.
So I know that's, a little more nuanced, but I'm sure we can touch upon it.
I'm sure we can.
I'm sure we shall and will and can.
Yes.
But fortunately for us, we're not here to discuss your ex situation or mine, because many celebs have tried being friends with an ex and saved us or you from the potential heartache. So we're going to be digging into their relationships.
We'll be looking at the pressure of being in the public eye, what happens when there are kids involved, and whether the spark ever truly dies.
I think we should start by looking at a couple that it's gone really well for.
Okay.
To back up my side of the argument too.
Right.
Enter our favourite exes. Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin.
Fantastic.
Okay, so picture this. It's the early noughties. Oversized hoop earrings and tie-dye is rife.
Love.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
The first iPhone was released.
Okay.
Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne was out.
Banger.
And Saturday Night Takeaway aired for the first time. This is 2002, so this predates Crazy in Love. You know that my reference points in life are largely based upon music release, but specifically the strongest one in my head is 2003 is Beyonce's Crazy in Love. So that's kind of my like BCAD thing in my head.
Okay.
Saturday Night Takeaway and all is older than Crazy in Love.
How crazy is that?
It's crazy. And this is Famously in Love. So the two, Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow. Sorry, I should say it the right way around. Gwyneth Paltrow
and Chris, of course,
her
plus one.
Yeah. Chris Martin met in 2002 while backstage at one of Coldplay's concerts. They got married a year later.
Okay.
And over the course of their decade-long relationship, they had 2 children, Apple and Moses.
What a name.
What 2 names? I think, Apple even more so, but they're just great, aren't they?
And also when I think of Apple, beautiful baby girl, I think green apple.
I am inclined to agree.
Like visually, it's green, like
crisp.
Crisp.
And there's something about red. I think red turned to mush quicker. So therefore I'm like, nah, if you're named after one, it'll be the good one.
It will be the green apple because I just feel a green apple is assertive.
A Granny Smith.
Yeah. Like crisp, slightly tart,
tangy,
but also
a little
sweet.
Yeah, I agree.
Shout out to Apple.
Shout out to Apple. She's probably listening.
Yeah.
Also, everyone went bonkers for the name at the time. Do you remember? Like I was only obviously what's it called? A glint in my father's eye.
Oh.
That's a lie. I was 8. But I don't, I still remember at that age people popping off about the name Apple.
People they were shocked. They were confused.
Dismayed.
They were angry.
Fraught.
And calm down, guys.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that deep. Now, no one thinks about it.
I don't think anyone would bat an eyelid.
No.
What changes in 20 years? Because also, It's that thing, I actually saw a tweet about this week that was like, some people in the industry are just destined to do well. Like, you were never going to get, oh yeah, I'll just check that with Beyonce and HR.
Yeah.
Like, some names are destined for stardom.
Yeah.
And
Apple.
Gwyneth knows what she's doing by naming her kid Apple.
She said Apple is going to be a star.
Yes, the star.
Yeah.
The granny of all Smiths. So the couple famously announced that they were consciously uncoupling.
Yes, they did.
And the world stopped. Carry on. In 2014 on Goop. Of course, if
Naturally.
Beyonce is going to release something on Tidal, Gwyneth is going to release it on Goop.
Her divorce.
So
not a single, not an album, her divorce announcement on the Goop.
She also said, in many ways, we are closer than we have ever been, which is a really funny thing to say when you're separating, because surely not.
I think
We're so close that we've pushed each other yards apart.
it's almost like saying, I am better off without him, but we are happier now that we're not together. It's
Right.
like, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, we are so close, but it's like, I don't want to live in the same house as you.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in the same proximity as you. In fact, I don't want your last name. I don't want the ring you gave me. I want nothing to physically do with you.
Did she ever take his last name? She was always Paltrow to me.
To us.
Gwyneth
but
Martin.
maybe on the old...
Gwyneth Martin is the kind of name you would meet in HR.
Yes.
Gwyneth Paltrow you wouldn't.
No, but Gwyneth Martin, she's a manager.
She wants
in
to
HR.
check she is on your back
She also doesn't approve your holidays.
at all.
She's like, where are you going?
Yeah. Oh, you're making the most of the bank holiday, is
Yeah.
it? Denied.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad she stuck with Paltrow the whole time. She also said in 2019, I think Chris and I were meant to be together and have our kids, but our relationship is much better like this, friends and co-parents and family. It's just so nice to hear that rather than like slagging off the dad to the kids and stuff. And I just think she says the most outlandish things, but that are always sincere.
Oh,
Like,
so sincere.
Everything she's one of the last kind of statues within celebrity world to me of delusion but absolute sincerity, which is what I need and want from my celebs.
At all times.
It's why I love watching Real Housewives so much, because the non-PR trained ones, the non-media trained ones are the best.
The best.
She said, this is one of my favourite quotes ever. She said in 2011, I'd rather smoke crack than eat spray cheese. And there was an article in 2016, 5 years later, she doubled down and the headline was, I would still rather smoke crack than eat spray cheese from a can.
I love my celebrities so delulu. And she does it so well.
It's very, the famous bit in Harry Potter when Hermione's like, we could be killed or worse, expelled. It's like the priorities are so the wrong way around. This to me is that. It's like, we could smoke crack or worse, eat cheese from a can. Like, it's exactly the same.
Horror. Sacre bleu.
Oh, sacre bleu. Ooh. So, since then, they have stayed close friends and co-parents. Chris is now with actress Dakota Johnson, best known for 50 Shades of Grey or being on The Ellen Show and saying, actually, Ellen, that's not true.
I did invite you.
Iconic name.
Yeah.
And Gwyneth is married to Glee creator Brad Falchuk, which is also iconic.
Yes.
She met him when she was guest starring on Glee.
That is, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was amazing. Holly Holiday, I think she was called. I say I think. I know she was called Holly
I remember
Holiday.
her being on Glee. I remember the episode. I remember thinking, Gwen can sing.
Oh, she's got
Gwyneth's
it. She's
got
got it all. Piper Rooney's.
Wow. Okay, Gwyneth Paltrow, because Gwyneth Martin.
Paltrow.
Okay. I knew you were, I was just waiting. There we are. He showed up for work today.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
As did Gwyneth Pipe Martin.
Yes.
So, knowing all of that, the first thing I want to look at is how much does having children play a factor in couples staying friends after a breakup?
I think it's really big because at the end of the day, breakups can happen. Even if they happen messily, you still have to co-parent.
Correct.
So you would rather co-parent from a place of friendship than from a place of like angst and whatever. Now, I think Chris and Gwen are a great example of how... What did I say?
Gwyneth.
I'm sorry.
Gwyn.
I didn't realise we were being hypercritical today.
Gwynning.
I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on, and I'll be putting an official complaint to Gwyneth Martin.
I'll stay Gwynning and you can lose.
Anyways, I think that doing that, them two doing it together, they've shown people like, it's possible, it's doable. There are obviously situations where you can be in a relationship where someone doesn't even want to be your friend. Like you've completely, it's gone messy.
You should have split up ages ago.
Exactly.
Sour,
But I feel like they are very conscious people, as to the conscious and complex. And I think they realize, like, okay, we don't have these feelings for each other anymore.
Yeah.
Let's end it sooner rather than later and be great co-parents and friends.
And she said that herself. So in 2020, there was an interview with Harper's Bazaar, and she said, it's a lifelong commitment to constantly reinvent your relationship with your ex, which you do presumably because you have children together.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason to do it if you don't have children together.
I fully agree.
Exactly, speaks completely to what you're saying. She, yet again, is sincere and on the money. I think the main thing with the having kids thing and staying mates is the positive impact it has on the kids as well. Because I think a lot of obviously take the celebrity part out of it. With a lot of single parent families, the primary caregiver, who more often than not is the mum, tends to have to keep an illusion together if they don't get on as parents.
Yes.
That the dad is amazing and not deadbeat and blah, blah, blah. But what it means most of the time is just human nature as kids. If they're only seeing a dad a very limited amount of time, they idolise everything he does. They worship the ground he walks on without knowing how little he's doing to commit to parenting. So to be able to not have that as an issue at all is so healthy for the kids.
Absolutely.
Never mind the happier they are getting on together, the more that rubs off on the kids, because as we know, kids pick up on everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it's really nice to be relieved of any of that.
Well, also, I feel like, I don't know, when I was dating and whatever, I would always think to myself, like, the person who I'm dating or the person who I want to marry, I'm not just marrying you because you're like a fun guy and we have fun together and it's hee hee ha ha. Will you be a good dad? Because if we split up, you have to show up for the kids. And I feel like Gwyn and Chris did a great job of like pairing together, because as parents they want to show up for their kids, which means even if they have their own issues, they're going to be like, no, we'll work through that so that we can be good parents.
It's interesting that that's something that like is at the forefront of your mind.
Yes,
because I love kids and I maybe will want to have kids, but it's not something that I constantly think about in a pairing. So therefore, I guess obviously inherently I would like to think I would couple up like on Love Island tonight.
I would like to
like
couple
I've
up
coupled
with,
up. But it's part and parcel, obviously, hopefully, of like being with the right person and a nice person. But it's not an active thought where I'm like, will you be a good parent?
Oh yeah,
because it's not. Yeah,
because some people are good people, but they maybe not very paternal.
Wouldn't necessarily see good.
And you can always learn that. I'm not saying like the person you meet today has to be the father figure for like, that can grow and it can come, but it is something that plays in my mind, like,
interesting,
so
cute.
I know, look at me.
Want to delve into more celebrity stories?
Well, Stacey Dooley and Larry Dean analysed some of the most crazy, shocking and downright absurd celebrity trials and controversies, both in court and by public opinion, in their podcast, Famously on Trial.
Listen to every episode on BBC Sounds. So with that, we've got an example of a couple who've nailed staying friends, Chris and Gwyneth.
Yes.
But is it always black and white? I think maybe so far it's seemed a little too easy.
Well, I've got a lot to say about this one, because there is a couple that I think we should kind of talk about that demonstrates, this, that it might not always go
blurry.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
The era. It is 1983. The McDonald's chicken nugget was distributed worldwide. She was a global sensation.
Phenomenon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also shoulder pads, which I am actually rocking today.
Same.
No, they're just your shoulders.
Oh, they're just so broad. Sorry, I get confused.
Well, shoulder pads and, the fashions are doing the bits. This is the era.
Right.
Okay. So the couple who we are going to be having a look at is none other than Sinitta and Simon Cowell, a.k.a. her plus one.
A.k.a. the inventor of palm leaves.
Yeah. Sinitta.
Sinitta.
So they first met in 1983 when Simon signed her at his record company. Sinitta was at the height of her career. She released So Macho, which was a huge hit in the gay clubs. It's still a hit.
I know, but like, can you imagine being in the clubs when that came out?
Pumping. Just
So Macho, he's gonna be big and strong.
And also her hair, her hair back in the day was just everything.
And those leotards and stuff she'd wear, like she was
her
in a
body just
beautiful, right and tight.
Honestly, shout out to Sinitta. And they were on and off for 20 years, which at this point, this is a curse. Leave me alone. What do you mean on and off for 20
years?
Get a grip. How many degrees can I get in 20 years? Go away. Literally, you're a plague. Leave me alone. On and off? No. Anyways, I digress. In 2013, Simon then meets Lauren Silverman, his now fiance, and mother to his son Eric, who is the
most adorable little boy in the world.
Precious little baby boy I've ever seen in my life.
Gorgeous.
I adore him. Yeah. I don't know him, but I look at his face and I'm like, ooh, baby. Literally. Okay. So, also for context, this Lauren.
Yeah. This here Lauren
is our Sinitta's best mate.
Do you know how they met?
How did they meet?
At a Sandals resort. Because their kids were mates.
They played at Sandals. How crazy is that?
Yeah. Like, imagine just being rocking up to Butlins and then like finding your Bezzy. How crazy is
finding
that?
your Bezzy mate, who then has an
steals your
20-year curse, takes him off of you, and then gets preggers and
with the most beautiful little boy as well.
Also, with the man who has famously said he didn't want kids.
Yeah, that's the kicker.
So, anyways, so since then, Sinitta has acknowledged that it was unrequited love and they've built quite a close friendship. They are godparents to each other's children, and she's even offered to marry them as she is an ordained minister. Sinitta, babe.
Oh.
Sinitta, darling, let it go. Let it go.
You can't hold it back anymore.
You can't. And I love Sinitta, okay? So what I'm wondering is, does the spark in a relationship ever really go post-breakup? I have my thoughts, but I want to hear yours.
I think before I talk about whether I think it does, like for me or for other people, Sinitta herself thought that they were genuinely going to get back together and said there'd been a spark for years after they stopped dating. So like him getting with Lauren was genuinely a surprise to her. So we have to take that into account as well. I think that it can, personally, which obviously you're going to disagree with because you hate everything that I ever say or do. But I do, but I wonder if that's... So like in my experience, for instance, we came into a relationship being best mates.
Yeah.
We had too much to drink one night, snogged, and then we're like, oh, maybe we should try dating each other.
Okay.
But I wonder if there was never enough of a spark initially that then when it's like, when I'm saying, did it go post-breakup, maybe it was just never like strong enough in the first place.
Oh, because it was like, and this is
because there hadn't been this. Yeah,
I don't like friends to lovers story arcs as well. I'm not gonna lie.
Right.
I just feel like I've been here your whole life,
right?
And now after a shot of what bourbon, I'm now all of a sudden like
I'm a homosexual. I don't drink bourbon. Wait, no. A brown liquor? Are you kidding?
Sorry, a lychee martini?
Yeah, it would have been a Sauvignon Blanc. A 250ml glass at that. Marlborough, New Zealand Sauvignon. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
With plenty of ice.
I've never heard such offence in your voice.
Bourbon.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
And now, all of a sudden, you know, there's the spark. Oh, should we date? Please leave me alone. I've been here. I've been here. Look at me. Love me. Pick me. I've been here. Choose me. Anyways.
Okay.
So I do understand what you mean by your, you know, maybe there wasn't.
I do understand. However, I'm going to completely null and void everything you've just said.
Because I disagree with it strongly.
Okay.
No. You know what it is? I feel like it is doable to not have a spark after, you know, the relationship. It is the worry and the concern that it could A, come back, B, it can be, like, anything can trigger
But if you're both happy, fine, okay. But, like, Liz Hurley and Hugh Grant, right? They dated.
Yeah.
He is now her son's godfather. They're both happily married. So I think it can happen and it can work because... I see what you mean. If it was like the Sinitta thing, I think the issue is that she's single
and she loves
seemingly
him.
Perpetually, and yes, and those two, and I get that, right? So it's a bit of a love triangle.
Yeah.
With Liz and Hugh, they're both happily married. So I understand your point more. If one of them were to divorce the other, it's like, oh, are you going to come back and claim what's yours, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But if they've both been in married, not that you have to be married for a relationship to be anyone worth it, but they are both married. They've been together for quite a while, involved in each other's lives as godfathers to the children. Is that not enough sign to say, yeah, cool, this can work, absolutely fine? And you're giving me the side eye.
No side eye. I believe, I get what you're saying. I just don't think it's necessary. There are plenty of people.
I agree with that.
Plenty of people to be friends with. Leave me alone.
To an extent.
No, listen. If you need friends, download Bumble BFF. Go and make friends. Leave me alone.
Right.
We didn't work out. We are not mates. Right. I don't want to spud you as I walk down the street. I don't want to dap you up like you're my homeboy. We didn't work out. Leave me alone.
So it seems I'm going to have to remind you again. I am a homosexual.
Oh, here we go.
Therefore,
yes,
lots of my friendship groups are very intertwined. I would not, fine for you, right? But like a lot of my mates know each other from originally having gone on dates or, God forbid, sleeping with each other.
Yes.
Or being in relationships, whatever. But even in London, gay world is not that big. So you need to, in my experience, it's far more easy.
No one.
I'd have not a single friend left if it wasn't someone I hadn't dated, me with one ex. So I just think, there's nuance to be had.
There is.
And I'm not saying that you need to be bezies with your ex by any standard, and Lord knows I'm not trying to persuade you into that.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it would be actively a pain to have any kind of animosity towards an ex, because I am going to run in those circles again. Whereas I guess with like straight relationships, more frequently, you tend to have like the ex, if he's a man, in most of his mates are going to be boys. And then if it's a woman, most of their mates are going to be girls. Yeah. So like, I can understand that more.
I agree about the animosity point. I don't even think you need to have animosity. I just don't think we need to be friends.
Right.
I can respect you from afar. I can...
Oh, we've gone gentle voice.
I can respect you from afar, from afar. ASMR. Like, I don't need you in my proximity. I don't need to message you when I get the job. I don't need to message you when... You know what I mean? However, I will also say this. I think with a lot of gay relationships and dating situations...
Here she goes.
They don't always end badly.
Agreed.
Whereas when you date straight men...
yeah, you need them as far away as you
9 times out of 10, you're ready to tussle, okay? You are fighting for your life. You are crawling out of the bunkers.
Yeah.
You have just left the front lines of war.
Right.
You are literally just trying to survive.
Okay.
Therefore, why would I then go and be friends with somebody who is literally... ruining my life! Ruining me!
I agree with that.
See what I mean?
Yes, I do agree with that.
So it is nuanced as a conversation, but I think... when you think of all the potential moving chess pieces...
Configurazione.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is a world in which absolutely you can be civil, you can be friendly, you can be friends, but I don't know if I would ever be a Sinitta and Simon, is all I'm saying.
So with that in mind, in 2019, on Simon's birthday, Sinitta tweeted...
Oh, the iconic tweet.
I want to lead the congratulations to my dearest and oldest, truest, most incredible and lovable friend... at Simon Cowell.
Perfect. If you had left it there, that is a beautiful tweet. Poetry, in fact. Fantastic.
Right. Just about there at the 140 character limit. Gorgeous.
Fantastic.
Click send, go about your day, get a few retweets.
However,
we're only halfway through. The second half continues. Hashtag happy birthday, baby.
Okay.
Comma, you are adorable and loyal and so damn, capitals, fine! Exclamation mark. I love you, baby. Hashtag still damn hot.
That final hashtag.
Every word is worse than the one before.
Fine.
And what is crazy is, normally in these situations, you would think the strongest things.
Yes.
You would say to close friends or group chat the less strong things.
Yes.
Because you'd still have a fear of being judged of what you actually thought.
Yeah.
And then the really watered down version goes to social media.
Because your friends would have watered it down further.
So this
was the watered
was
down
the Watergate. So what I don't understand then is, what is she thinking And what has she spoken to close friends about? Or
bearing in mind her close friend is Lauren.
Or is she an anomaly which I think maybe is the case. I think Sinitta is so sincere and so lovely. Like, you just don't hear bad things about her in the industry. I wonder if this is just exactly what she thinks.
Absolutely.
What she'd have sent to Lauren and just gone, I love him. I'm not meddling. I'm not trying to be wrecking anyone's home.
No.
I just think,
love
you're
him,
a gorgeous man. Love you.
Hot.
I'm so tied to you in this life.
Sexy, sexy Simon.
Yeah.
That I personally believe that she wrote it.
Yeah.
And then said, hey, babe.
What's your at? Is it at Simon Cowell Official?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's probably in a group chat that they're all in and been like, can I also tag this picture? Do you mind if I post this picture?
Yeah.
And she's just put it onto the group chat and everybody's seen it. And then they're like, oh.
I agree. Yeah. Have I spelt hot right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can someone spell check? Grammar and punctuation, Lauren.
Which they didn't, because she had capitals all over the place.
All over the shop.
Which is iconic.
But I think, and that's what makes Sinitta just the most endearing person
I
ever.
agree.
I just love her, and I love her little palm tree leaves.
But if anyone else had tweeted that to an engaged 20-year on and off ex,
it would have
prison time.
That's why the papers don't even run with it, because they're like, oh, that's just Sinitta.
Oh, there she goes again.
That's just Sinitta.
Yeah. If she actually had said happy birthday, full stop, and posted a photo, the papers would have run with that.
Yeah, they'd have been like, something is
There's
wrong.
trouble in paradise.
Yeah.
With Simon and his ex. Wonder why.
No, I love her. I think that Lauren isn't kind of like, oh, I'm not worried. I think she's just like, Sinitta's so sweet. She would literally not harm a fly. There's nothing for me to worry about. I think it's that.
Okay.
You know?
I'd like to think
I hope
so
it's
I
that.
agree,
Because that's how I would feel.
Yeah.
Our beautiful Sinitta. So, this is all well and good, but what happens when your worst nightmare comes true? Okay. When that girl or boy who they told you not to worry about, actually comes into the picture?
Okay, I wish I could say that never happened, but alas it does. And boy, is there one example that trumps
them all. Them all.
Okay, so it's the 1970s, and we're in West London, barber jackets, polo matches, upper echelon type situation, okay? The Beatles have released 2 of their biggest albums, Let It Be and Abbey Road.
Tunes.
The Queen has been reigning for almost 20 years. So the final couple that we are going to look at is, drumroll please, Prince Charles, now of course King, his wife Camilla. Well, really it's a thruple triangle situation.
Yeah.
Charles, Camilla and
Diana.
May she rest in peace, Diana.
Princess Di.
Lady Di. Charles and Camilla met in 1970 at a polo match.
Okay.
Obviously, where else would you be if you're in the monarchy?
Yeah.
So at the time, Camilla was in an on-off relationship with Andrew Parker Bowles.
Okay.
Crazy that they have the same surname. Charles and Camilla then dated for a couple of years from 1971 to 1973. This was pre-Diana. I didn't know that.
Same. I didn't know that.
She's been there since day.
She's technically the Sinitta.
Yeah, Camilla is the Sinitta.
Camilla is
the
Sinitta.
on-off.
20-year.
Still tweeting at him.
Yeah.
But not.
So damn fine.
She got him in the end. So damn hot. She got him in the end.
Yeah.
So she's not Sinitta, unless the Sinitta Simon Lauren arc is yet to conclude.
We don't know what's going to happen, Jack. Okay, the story's still writing itself.
Okay, so maybe the Hare and the Tortoise tease.
Exactly.
So a month after they split, Camilla and Andrew get engaged. Andrew Parker Bowles.
Which is super quick, I might add.
It is, a month.
Hasty.
Much to Charles's devastation.
Oh, he's so distraught.
Poor Charles.
Oh, no,
Fast forward 4 years and Charles meets Diana, Queen of Our Hearts. Weirdly, he was dating her older sister, Sarah. So Charles dated Diana's sister before he dated Diana.
Also didn't
But also apparently was still involved with Camilla at that time.
With the
boots.
Whoa. Rewind. So he's dating Diana's older sister,
Sarah,
whilst also seeing Camilla,
who
Charles, you scoundrel.
Right.
Oh my
you down. Dirty down.
Oh my God.
And I just think at this point, whilst I have all the sympathy in the world for Diana and love her, dating your ex's sister is hell. And also so is being the woman dating the ex of your sister. You know what I mean? Like, it just, I guess that's how those circles work. Like, if you're in the monarchy and, they're not dating Gwyneth from HR. In 1980, Charles and Diana start dating.
Yes.
They get engaged a year later and wed not long after that.
Beautiful wedding.
Right? Beautiful wedding.
Beautiful.
Were you there?
No. I saw the videos.
Whilst married to Diana,
Yes.
As we all know, Charles and Camilla embarked on an affair. The first of many missteps.
Nah.
Everyone gets divorced. Andrew and Camilla and Charles and Diana. Now, the crazy bit here to me is that Andrew Parker Bowles allegedly knew and was, and I quote, flattered and amused that the future king was in love with his wife.
How crazy.
Quote from Lord Soames, Andrew is so loyal to the crown, this is actually hell, you're going to die at this, that he is prepared to lay down his wife for the sake of his
For
country.
queen and country, for king or king and country.
Whatever. He is prepared to lay down his wife.
Ew.
Like, he's just like, yes, here's my property.
If I
It's
were
hell.
Camilla, right, I would be so offended because in my head, I would want a bit of reality to be these two rich men to fight over me. But here is my husband basically saying,
I lay down my
"Take
sword
her!"
and I lay down my wife.
Like, what do you mean?
For the honour of being involved in the story of the monarchy forevermore.
Oh.
It's wild. So then in 95, 2 years before the crash, Diana said, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded. And that year, Camilla and Andrew divorce.
Great impression, by the way.
It's the year, thank you.
Great.
It's the year after that Diana and Charles divorce, and then Diana tragically in 97 died in the car crash.
Yes.
The year after that, Charles and Camilla made their relationship public. So what I wonder then is, when is the point that you should be worried about a partner's ex? I.e., don't worry, baby, this is
worry
the
about
girl they
her.
told you not to worry about.
Yeah.
And is there anything you can actually do about it?
There's nothing you can actually do about it.
Particularly in this situation.
Particularly in that situation. And you should always have your ears on
the streets.
swivel. There is no point within that you should just be like, oh, it's totally fine. Now, if it starts ruining your relationship, as it starts making you crazy, leave, right?
Yeah.
But I also think there is a world in which people can be friends with their exes and, you know, you actually don't have to worry about it and whatever. But I just want to put myself in that situation. So whatever, I don't really care. Whatever, shut up.
Yeah, I agree. I think, obviously, we really need to separate the two between this example and real life. Because I think for proximity to the crown, unfortunately, I do just think the one coming with the crown on their side is always going to have the upper hand. Because no matter, you know, it was seen, particularly in those days, and still to a lot of people, such a goal that you would do whatever and put up with whatever.
Hence why
for that life.
Diana dates her sister's ex.
Right.
Because it's like, he is
the
king.
It's Charles, he can do what he wants.
He's the next king, of course. Like, he could literally just pick from a lineup and people would weep.
So then what's your take on the whole thing about, should you be worried and is there anything you can do about it? Should you need to do anything about it? Like, is it a big enough red flag that if the ex is still involved in their life, somewhat out of choice and they're still chatting, is this a kind of, excuse me, to both of you, stop, I'm the new woman in your case? Or do you go, I shouldn't even need to, like, that's such a red flag for me to even have to say anything, that I'm out?
I think both can work. However, I don't believe in giving ultimatums. So I don't believe in, like, it's me or her.
No, but it could be a nudge of, can you understand that this is upsetting me? I'm asking you please to stop talking to her.
I think it would, stop talking to us too far. I think it would be
I'm surprised at that. I thought you would go all in with this.
I see, I'm crazy in my head. But outside...
You can't fight, can you?
No, I can. I
bet
can
you
tussle.
can't. I bet you
No,
can't.
I've never been in a fight ever in my
Of course
life.
you haven't.
I would cry. I'd literally weep. Like,
Yeah,
why
you
do you want to
would.
fight me? My mascara's just fresh. Don't do that. But no, I also just don't believe in, like, being one of options.
Right.
Get away from me.
Right.
I am the only option.
Yeah.
The minute this woman comes in and there's even a toss-up between, like, oh, but I really, like spending time with her and she's my mate. Well, then I guess I'm out of the chat, babe. Buddy.
So that's what I mean then. So you're seeing it as, I don't even want to waste my time saying anything to you about it. That's the red flag. I'm done.
I'm out.
Okay.
I'm not going to vocalize it. If you can't see it, if you can't, But then there is a world where it's like, they're mates and they get along, but maybe there just needs to be new boundaries because I've now come into the picture. So
Fine. So it's always in a group setting where, because you're all group mates or whatever.
Or like, no late time calling and texting or like, and also like, you used to confide in her, but I am now here. So you don't necessarily have to go into...
Straight world is so crazy.
I know, we're weird.
Because like with me, I'm in so many group chats still with my ex where we'll like send memes and stuff. And it's just like, if I had someone with me who was like, oh, You're laughing at a meme from him, are you, at 11:30?
Oh, I was about to say that's different. No, I would be pissed.
You'd be pissed, yeah.
Who are you to make my man laugh at 11:30 p.m.? I'm so sorry.
Wow.
I beg your pardon. I'm the only comedian here. Me.
Right.
Funny boots here.
Funny boots down.
Me.
When she'd be worried about a partner's ex, you're almost like, I'm actually not, because it's not even that I'd worry about it. If it becomes an issue, I'm done.
Yeah.
Fine.
And I'd probably explain why, but it also isn't up for negotiation. It's not even like it's like, oh, I'll change A, B, C, D. It's just kind of like, well,
no, I'm fine.
I
am totally fine with that. I think even in like my side of the examples, it's just one of those things where I'm old enough now and have seen enough red flags that to be boundaried. And unfortunately, regardless of your argument or opinion on it, that's my boundary. So I'm done.
I'm out.
I agree with that. We've looked at a few examples now of where celebs have, with varying amounts of success, been friends with their ex. Sarel, I wonder, has this changed your opinion? You were obviously very against it at the start. You've been very against it throughout. So I'm going to go with, my guess is going to be no.
Wild guess that you've taken there.
Yeah.
It is correct.
Right.
I'm still a no. I will say, like I said, there are different sorts of relationships where it can work. For example, with children, for example, you know, your lives are intertwined. Maybe you have a business together. Maybe, you know, maybe you were absolutely the best of friends and you not speaking to this person would wildly impact your mental health. Fine, I'll give it to you. However, for me personally, Sarel, I, she, her,
Yeah.
I will lean towards a no 98% of the time.
Okay, so 1 in 50 chance.
So yeah, that's my take on it. And Godspeed to you and your community.
Oh, she's clawing it back. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with both sides.
Both. Okay.
The fence is here and I'm happy to sit on it.
Okay.
I just think the whole thing is so nuanced.
What works for you, I guess.
Right. Different horses, different courses.
Exactly.
I think I am very happy for you.
Thank you so much.
At all times.
Thank you.
Just in general, but also in this example.
Yeah.
But I do think, I guess also there's a difference between having someone in your life and, like you say, not harbouring resentment. You can be somewhere in the middle. Yeah. Just because you're not friends with the next doesn't mean you have the most horrible animosity towards them.
I actually don't think you should have animosity.
No, I think it's unhealthy. I think it says a lot about you.
Unhealthy.
Unless they've done something awful, I can understand it to an extent, you know? But I just think if you've split up, I think there's almost, I think, societally, particularly in straight relationships, this thing of like, oh, you should hate your ex. You have to hate your ex because you split up. And it's like, no, if you can work through it, it's nice. It takes a lot of energy to not like someone. And every time they're brought up to feel anger towards them. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not excusing certain behaviours. If someone's been a rotter, they're a rotter. And I'm not saying you should forgive them. Yeah. But I think, there's this weird like, oh God, that ex. And I'm like, you were with them for a while, so there's a reason for that. It didn't
end terribly. You just fell out of love. Right. And now all of a sudden you've got this like vendetta against them. Yeah. Kind of unhealthy.
I don't think it's cool to hate an ex unless there's a reason, is what I mean.
Absolutely. Yeah. If it's justifiable, go
crazy,
run
multiply
with that. But if it's like we just grew apart with different people, you guys can end amicably. You can go on with your lives. You don't have to be mates, but you don't have to be enemies.
But I would say, if possible, be Gwyneth and Chris, because I think they've smashed it.
In a world where you can be anyone, be Gwyneth.
Be Gwyneth Martin from HR.
Gwyneth Martin from HR. Thanks so much for watching. You can listen to Famously in Love on BBC Sounds and watch on the BBC Sounds YouTube channel.
And remember, for more in-depth celeb stories and controversies, listen to Famously on Trial on BBC Sounds with Stacey Dooley and Larry Dean.